to us they said, one of Zion's songs. Let my tongue be silenced if I ever forget you. Oh, how could we sing the song of the Lord on foreign soil if I forget?
Have been saved. Raise us up with him and seated us with him in the heavens in Jesus Christ, that in the ages to come he might show the immeasurable riches of his grace and his kindness to us in Christ Jesus. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from you, it is the gift from God. It is not from works, so no one may boast. For we are his handiwork, and created in Christ Jesus for the good works, that God has prepared in advance, that we should live in them. The word of the Lord.
Glory to you, Word of God, Lord Jesus Christ. Glory to you, Word of God, Lord Jesus Christ. God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, so that everyone
Gone into the world to condemn the world, but that the world might be saved through him. Whoever believes in him will not be condemned, but whoever does not believe has already been condemned, because he has not believed in the name of the only Son of God. And this is the verdict, that the light came into the world, but people preferred darkness because their works were evil. For everyone who does wicked things hates the light.
Various times when they would commit themselves to be there for prayer. And as a team, we put together a long list of intentions we wish to pray during that special period. The list covered everything from those preparing for marriage. We prayed for the sick, the Church Universal, and many other intentions. The final one was we prayed for any who were estranged from the church, that they might find the courage to return home. So after about an hour, I returned to the rectory to await again. And I'm not sure if he ever took that next step. I was reminded of the words of Pope Benedict, who wrote some time ago that God desires to enfold us in his inexhaustible tenderness. He does this despite our sinfulness and our unworthiness. But how very, very difficult it can be sometimes for us to accept that gift. Our gospel this weekend presents us with another encounter, the encounter of Nicodemus with Jesus. Earlier in John's gospel, we see that Nicodemus is searching for a deeper meaning in his life. He was a well-educated Pharisee. He was a member of the Sanhedrin. And it's always interesting, in the earlier portion of the gospel, we read that Nicodemus came to see Jesus under the cover of darkness. You see, he's intrigued with Jesus and Jesus' teachings and miracles, and in his heart, he knows he is a man from God. He's drawn to Jesus. However, as a leading Pharisee, he did not want others. Jesus knew that as a good Pharisee, Nicodemus would have been well versed in the Old Testament. And so our gospel this morning, we have Jesus reminding Nicodemus of the story of the bronze serpent erected on a pole by Moses. During their long journey with Moses in the desert, the people of Israel often complained. They wanted to turn to other gods, and they could turn away time and time again from God. And so in this particular section, we were reminded how they were punished by having poisonous snakes bite them, bites that could be fatal. And so in their fear and need, they asked Moses to help them. And this is when God commanded him to create this strange symbol. But as the people gazed upon this repulsive image, they were forced to admit their sinfulness and unruly ways. And when they did, they were cured. And Jesus uses this to assure Nicodemus that when he is lifted up on the cross, salvation will be accomplished through his death. The light that has come into the world, and again, how sometimes we choose the darkness over that gift. Jesus brings the light that we do not need to fear or to hide from. Rather, it's a light that encourages us to bring those things that we're ashamed of or want to hide from. Those things that keep us bound up in the darkness. It's not a light of condemnation, but rather one of welcome and forgiveness. The light that Jesus brings helps us to see our worth and the good we are capable of doing. It's the very light that Paul says helps us own the fact that each of us is God's work of art. But isn't it true that we often struggle to see ourselves as being so valuable, so precious in God's eyes? I think we are much like a special artwork that might have been put aside or not properly cared for. We need careful, sensitive restoration to be saved and brought back to life. And like all who restore great treasures, God needs light to do his work. But we need to step into the light where the good Lord can see us. And when